evening from Foxhall Heath, Ipswich, where tonight we've got a match which shows exactly why East Anglia is dominating British Speedway. Ipswich and Kings Lynn go into tonight's match, third and fourth in the league table, and the Ipswich boss, John Berry, said this one could turn out to be a league decider. Well, that remains to be seen, but certainly Ipswich will be glad to erase the memory of that meeting at Saddlebow Road a few weeks ago when Kings Lynn came from behind to win off the last bend of the last heat. Well, the big guns are out tonight. Kings Lynn have the British and Commonwealth champion Dave Jessup. Ipswich have the Australian and Australasian champion Billy Sanders. And of course, backing them up, the likes of Michael Lee and John Louis. It's Ipswich against Kings Lynn. Could turn out to be the match of the season. Commentator, Dave Lanning.
So as the shadows lengthen, let's have a look at the lineup for Heat 1. On the inside, it's Dave Jessup riding in white. Grid 2 has Tiger Louis, John Louis, in the red helmet colour. Grid 3 has Melvin Taylor, match winner for Kings Lynn in this fixture we saw earlier in the series up at Saddlebow Road. And on the outside, it's Tim Hunt coming into Heat 1 as a rider replacement, of course. The Witches without missing heat leader Kevin Jolly out with a broken leg, so they'll be utilising the sports rider replacement regulations to cover for him. Heat number 1, Jessup, Louis, Taylor, Hunt. That's where they line up. And they're under starters orders and away. Any minute now, away they go. And again, it's Jessup who's made his customary tremendous start into the first corner. Louis got squeezed out. Mel Taylor moves into second place there. And that was a pretty bold manoeuvre there by young Melvin Taylor. As we go round the bottom corner, Taylor in a little bit of trouble there. Jessup's in front. Second place is Taylor. Tiger Louis trying to battle through from the back to try and make up some of the ground. He was squeezed out on the first turn, but this, at the moment, is a very healthy-looking start for Kings Lynn, the visitors. Remember, they won this fixture here last year, the corresponding fixture. We were here to see that one. That was the last heat decider, and now Tiger Louis has moved into third place clearly and is chasing hard after Mel Taylor. Taylor has a tiger on his tail, literally and metaphorically. Well, John Louis made a bit of a mess of the bottom corner, and I don't think he's going to catch Melvin Taylor here. Oh, David Jessup's in trouble, and Jessup is in terrible trouble. He's down there on the fence. His bike, something flew off it, and we really have an eventful heat number 1, because right on the last lap, David Jessup in front. Something flew off his bike. I think it was his clutch. It took him straight into the fence. He seemed to be a long time getting off, and that's really a most dramatic start. So what did happen to Dave Jessup in that dramatic last lap? You can see into the corner. The bike just blew into a million pieces. You can see the electrical box there going up in the air. David just can't turn. He looks back. He knows he's in strife. He's got to get off. The fence is coming roaring up. Turns it back in, but it takes him in back on. And, well, a bit of a wallop there. And he's lucky to really pick himself up after that one. So after, well, an eventful heat 1, to say the very least, the eventual result was a win for Melvin Taylor in yellow. Then following him home were the Ipswich pair, John Louis, Tim Hunt. So what looked to be all set for a maximum 5-1 heat win for the visitors, Kings Lynn, turns out to be a divided heat 3 to each team. And that's Billy Sanders, of course, the Australian and Australasian champion. A lot of speculation about his return to Ipswich during the winter, but John Berry, the home promoter here, took a jet hop out to Sydney, did a bit of sweet talking, and it's nice to see Sanders back. A rider of unquestioned class, Billy Sanders, going into the inside grid here. Next to him in white is going to be Rickard Helson. We saw him in tremendous form in this fixture at Saddlebow Road. Grid 3 has Tim Hunt. It's his third race in 4 heats, actually. And on the outside is Pete Smith in yellow and black. Heat 4, 10-8 the score. Ipswich pairing made a tremendous start there, and Helson made a little bit of a mess of the first corner. Sanders is clear. Second place is Hunt. Third place is Helson for Kings Lynn. But, well, it really was a fine start by both the Witches. There goes Sanders. Second place is Hunt. You can see the distances there with this unique shot from our bucket camera up there on the first 2 corners. Billy Sanders from Rooty Hill, really flashing past us. There's the distances you can see. Sanders has a current British League average of 10.14. Look at the distance he's built up in Heat 4. It's into the last lap. Second is Tim Hunt. Helson has moved up a little on him, making him go. And Sanders. Fair old battle going on behind for second place. Over the line goes Sanders, and in second place, getting up on the line just by about half a wheel, was Richard Helson, and Tim Hunt has just dropped it as they do their wind down. There's Hunt, and all the drama really in the last few yards of heat number 4. It looked like a 4-2 for Ipswich, which means they regained the lead by 4 points, 14-10 progressively. Well, there is Dave Jessup coming out for heat 5. He's blown his own machine. It's a smithereens, a very expensive night so far. And he's on a machine now borrowed from his skipper, Michael Lee. And it must seem a bit strange to David, who's a little bit over 5 foot in his stocking feet, whereas his skipper's a little bit over 6 feet. The lineup for heat 5. On the inside, Mel Taylor riding in yellow and black. Next to him in blue, Previn Eriksson for Ipswich. Grid 3 on a borrowed bike, Dave Jessup, and on the outside, Mike Lanham in red. Jessup still feeling out his new mount. Well, I didn't seem to stop him gaiting anyway. David Jessup gets away. Second place is Taylor. Lanham trying to go through between the pair of them, does so. So Jessup leads, second place Lanham. Mel Taylor now going back under Lanham, giving him a rare old hump out of the way. Well, it's hard, but it's fair. So Dave Jessup settling down on his strange steed. Taylor's in second place. Lanham now looks as though he's got the bit between his teeth and wasn't too happy about that nudge down here last time round. Still Jessup, and Lanham trying to make some impression on second place rider Mel Taylor. He's ridden a hard race and ridden very well. I remember he had a win first time out after Dave Jessup packed up into the last lap. Kings Lynn first and second at the moment. I don't think Lanham has really got it there, or has he? Right on the back wheel. The effort must come now from Mike Lanham. So David Jessup wins heat 5. Second place Mel Taylor. Third place Lanham. 5-1 for Kings Lynn. Levels it all up after 5 races. 15 points each. And again, it looks like we have a classic on our hands in this local derby.
Dave Jessup, most extraordinary incident in that first heat. What exactly happened?
Well, unfortunately, like I was leading the race, and I'm unfortunately blowing the engine in rather a bad way. That bad that it smashed the electronic box and the frame on the front, unfortunately, which is, and then like the frame spread so much that he dug in the track and pitched me off.
Have you had a chance to think how much it's going to cost you yet?
Well, it's more the inconvenience, but I would think with the frame and the electronic box in excess of 1,000, I would think.
Well, part of the inconvenience is, of course, having to borrow a bike. You borrowed Mike Lee's. Now, what's the problems in adapting to a guy that size?
Well, the first problem is that one's a Jawa and one's a Westlake, and they're obviously rival manufacturers. That's the biggest problem. But adapting to Michael's size wasn't really a problem. The seat's higher, the handlebars are different. You're faced with that bike, that's the one you've got to ride, and luckily for me, I adapted to it, obviously, very quickly.
It does you great credit that you were able to go out straight away and win on it.
Yes, I suppose it does, yes.
Dave, nice to see you involved. Anyway.
Thank you.
Coming into heat number 6, Billy Sanders is brought in by the Ipswich management as rider replacement for the missing Kevin Jolly. Let's just very briefly explain. The rider replacement rules mean that an injured rider can be replaced by one of his teammates in each of his 4 programmed rides. Kevin Jolly is out. We've got Billy Sanders coming into the blue helmet colour in heat number 6 with the scores level, so the Witches play their big pairing here. On the inside, John Louis in red. Grid 2 has Richard Helson. He's going to have a battle on his hands here for Kingston. He's in white. Grid 3, Billy Sanders. On the outside, Nigel Sparshot, the young man. There's some redoubtable opposition here. Heat 6 then. 15-15 the score, and the 2 mighty Witches in action. And they've made the start. And Sparshot got to knock there, and down he went on the first corner. And it looks like he is trapped there. And I think referee Stan Melis is going to have to stop this one. Sparshot it was who went down. There is no exclusion light. In fact, the yellow light has just come on for the young man from Kings Lynn. And that might be a little bit harsh, because when we have a look at it again, we might see he was helped on his way. Let's see it again. You can see that Louis got a good start, so too is Helson. Now watch Billy Sanders in grid 3. He's in the blue helmet colour. Louis moves out. Sanders goes straight across. And no, well, he didn't touch him. That's fair enough. Sparshot, just lack of experience. It was a bit close, but no touch at all, so justice being done. Well, we're going into the restart of Heat 6, and Rickard Helsen there on his own. He's gone into the outside grid, and that really isn't allowed, because if my memory serves us right, he was in grid 2, and that's where he must go again. Here's Alan Littlechild, Big Al from Saddlebow Road, the team manager of the Stars, is saying, stay where you are. Well, we've now got John Berry coming out, and what's it going to be, lads? 2 falls or a submission? Well, somehow I think that the rival managers are not wishing each other a happy summer holiday. And now, well, he had to go in there, and it really, perhaps it was gamesmanship, but again, it's indicative of the kind of tension that these local derbies build up. Well, Helsen's got a lot on his hands, though, here in this restart, because he's got the 2 mighty witches, John Louis on the inside of him, Billy Sanders on the outside of him. Let's see if they try some scissor tactics up to the first corner. Heat 6 for the second time of asking. And it is a very clean break, and again it is Ipswich. First and second, Sanders leads it. Second place is Louis. Third place is Helsen. And, well, the Swedish laddie from Stockholm has now got an awful lot of work to do if he's going to retrieve anything from heat number 6. Louis in trouble there, and he has lost complete control and allowed Helsen through. There's a gap you could have driven a bus through, and I wonder if that was a mechanical fall, because it seemed like the bike just seized momentarily. Anyway, Helsen, not one to look a gift point in the face now, moves into second place. And the luck beginning to level out in this British League fixture between these old East Anglian rivals. Into the last lap. Sanders leads. Second place, Helsen. Third place, Tiger Louis. You can see they're almost equidistant, spaced out second and third. Sanders' beautiful controlled style. He really is an immaculate performer, this lad. Over the line, a win for him. Second place, Helsen. Third place, Tiger Louis. 4-2 heat win for the Witches. They move up to a 2-point lead, progressively 19-17. And let's have another look at that incident with Tiger Louis and the overtaking on lap 2. John Louis in a bit of trouble here. We'll see that incident again, which cost him second place. Just hit a grippy patch on the first corner. Did well, really, to control it, but left an enormous gap for Rickard Helsen to drive through, and John never really recovering from that mistake in lap 2.
Welcome back to Vauxhall Heath Stadium, this crucial British League Speedway fixture between Ipswich and Kings Lynn. Things really delicately balanced. Ipswich just ahead at the moment, but let's rejoin our commentator, Dave Lanning.
In the cool of the Suffolk evening, down in the forest something stirred, and it was in fact the sound of a 500cc Speedway machine reverberating as we move in to Heat 9 of this still delicately poised British League clash. Let's have a look at the lineup for Heat 9. There's the rider in yellow. That's Nigel Sparshot from Kings Lynn. He'll be on the inside here. Grid 2 will have Mike Lanham in red for Ipswich. Grid 3, Rickard Helsen from Kings Lynn. And on the outside, Preben Eriksson, who's had a very disappointing night so far. No score. Helsen has 2 second places. Lanham has a second place and a third so far. Heat 9, 26-22 the score. And oh dear. Oh, that was a nasty one. Well, the battle... The collision was between Helsen and Eriksson, and it did look as though Rickard Helsen took an almighty crack around the ears there. He's on his feet, and really we must give thanks for that. What did happen? Let's look at the riders on the outside. Eriksson is in blue, Helsen is in white. Eriksson there, you can see, has lost control momentarily. He's picked up Helsen, and he rode right over the top of him as down he went. And, well, Eriksson, I would have said, was the cause of the trouble, and referee Stan Mellish has just agreed and has excluded him from the restart. Really a remarkable sight. Rickard Helsen fit and ready for the restart of Heat 9. Even odds against that when you saw the bike going over the top of his neck. So 3 starters only. On the inside, Nigel Sparshot. Next to him, we have Mike Lanham. Grid 3 is the incredibly tough Rickard Helsen. Heat 9, 26-22 the score. And Mike Lanham will need to work hard here for the Witches. And into the first corner, and it is Lanham who emerges from the pack, and Sparshot finds some extra drive there And in third place, Rickard Helson, still looking a little cagey, a little off colour, and who can really wonder at that? There's Mike Lanham, stretching the field here in the second restart of heat number 9. On a borrowed bike, and still a little shaken, as well he might be. But Mike Lanham looks to have 3 points comfortably in his pocket. There's Mike Lanham kicking for home in heat 9, making sure that Kings Lynn gain no advantage from the fact he's on his own. He wins it. Second place was Sparshot. Rickard Helson just creeping in there, obviously the worse for wear. 3-3 though, points divided, 29-25, that's the score. The lights come on at Vauxhall Heath Stadium to illuminate heat number 10. Let's have a look at the lineup. From the inside, John Louis rides in red. Next to him, Michael Lee, unbeaten so far in the white helmet colour. Grid 3 rider replacement for the missing Kevin Jolly is Mike Lanham, who has, 6 points from his 3 rides. And on the outside, just making some last-minute adjustments in the yellow and black striped helmet colour is Bent Rasmussen from Kings Lynn, the lanky, gritty skipper of the Kings Lynn Stars, of course. Lives in Cambridge, unbeaten so far. Those elbows sticking out, my word, not much room to get past them if he gets the lead. Here we go, heat 10. And he has missed the start, Michael Lee. It's Louis who's got away. And Rasmussen hasn't had a bad start from the outside either. And Rasmussen it is who I think might just squeeze past John Louis as they go into the bottom corner. Yes, he has. And now here comes Michael Lee. And this is a bit of a mini surprise because Rasmussen has found Louis. And Michael Lee's trying to follow him, I think. Yes, he has. And so this is a 5-1 at the moment for Kings Lynn. And this would level the scores up with 3 races left. Rasmussen's looking and he knows, oh dear, he's stopped, his bike stopped, and Kings Lynn are having atrocious luck. That really was, we saw it so clearly there, and it must be said that Michael Lee did well to avoid him because he slowed up and almost stopped right in front of him. So that's another almost certain 5 points disappeared up the exhaust pipe for the Stars. Here's the distances, there's Mike Lee. 3-3, and Ipswich really must be thanking their lucky stars there because they managed to share heat number 10. It means they've still got a 4-point lead when it looked like it was going to be levels with devils as we approach the climax. The incident that cost Kings Lynn almost certainly maximum points in heat 10. You can see Bent Rasmussen looking for his partner, then a fuel pipe becomes disconnected, his head goes down, he knows he's in trouble, his hand goes up, looks for Michael Lee. Michael has chosen the outside course. He gets around him. Rasmussen is just cruising to a stop, making sure he's in nobody's way. But there was an incident when Ipswich could thank their unlucky stars for a shared heat. Well, there is Bent Rasmussen shaking his head. Cyril Crane, his promoter, offering commiserations, but they must be kicking themselves because that might have just been the moment when this league fixture slipped away from Kings Lynn. Heat 12, 2 to go, 35-31 the score. So much resting on the shoulders of Michael Lee. So Michael Lee with an awful lot of responsibility on him. He'll be in grid number 2 here, just moving up to the line. On the inside of him, we've got John Louis. Preben Eriksson's in grid 3, and on the outside, it is Pete Smith. 35-31. Kings Lynn can talk about their luck. There's Michael Lee. Certainly haven't had many of the breaks tonight, except the bad ones. Here's heat 12. Well, Lee it was who seemed to get the break, but then he got a bit of an elbow from Tiger Louis, and Tiger it is who's gone on in front. Second place is Lee, third place is Eriksson, and they really are bunching up neat and tight there, coming out of the fourth corner. So the chase is now on for Michael Lee. They can't afford to drop another couple of points here, Kings Lynn. Michael Lee really must get up and catch Tiger Louis if they are to stay in contention and hope that they can retrieve a point from this visit to Vauxhall Heath. But John Louis, really seasoned campaigner, knows every inch of this track, and he'll try now to ride a tactical race around his last lap and hold out. Michael Lee trying the outside run. Louis has blocked that passage. Around the outside again goes Lee. Still no way through. Down the back straight, they've got just 2 corners to go. And if he can hang on, that will mean the points must come to Ipswich. Louis wins it. The crowd leaping about in front of us. Lee is second. Third place was Ericsson. A 4-2 heat win for Ipswich, and that means they've won this British League match 39-33. They can't be caught now with just 1 race remaining. Here's DJ. He'll be moving into the inside grid here in heat 13. Next to him, Billy Sanders, who's only got 1 point tonight. There's Billy Sanders. He has 11 so far. Then we've got Bent Rasmussen. He'll be in yellow and black in grid 3. His engine packed up while leading his last race, and on the outside in blue, Mike Lanham for Ipswich. He's heat 13. Well, Sanders it was who clearly had the advantage at the start there. Jessup is second. Third place, it is Bent Rasmussen, although Jessup is now just stretching away clear of him. So Sanders leads it. Jessup is second, and Rasmussen goes a bit wide there and almost let Mike Lanham through into third place. Once again, Sanders and Jessup must chase hard. There's an awful lot of his riding from the front, but he's a very, very accomplished performer from the back, and we've lost now Billy Sanders. But there's Sanders right in front of us, stops. Don't know what happened to him. So it's Kings Lynn first and second, and the luck has broken back their way, but it's just too late for them. Well, we're having an eventful league fixture here. There's Jessup. Second place is Rasmussen. Lanham is third. And into the last corner. Jessup's going to win it. Second place was Rasmussen. Third was Lanham. A 5-1 means the final score was 40-38. We had all kinds of unpredictable events happening for us. Man of the match, well, really, it's got to be John Louis, who sealed that victory for the Witches with that fine match-winning ride in the penultimate ride.
John Louis, man of the match, many congratulations. I think it's the first time you've won this award, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Thanks very much, Stephen. Yeah, I'm very pleased to have it. But I had a bit of a slow start to the match, so what did you really give it to me for then?
I think it was for that performance in Heat 12, really, with Michael Lee. What was in your mind then with a guy like Mike Lee on your back wheel?
Yeah, well, I knew that John Berry had been up to us and said these last 2 heats are very crucial. You know, the minimum you've got to get out of this is 2 points, and obviously I went for the start to try and get the 3. But Mike was a terrifically good motorcyclist, you know, in anybody's book, and I knew it was going to be a hard race, and because I had firmly planted in the back of my mind 2 weeks ago this return match at Kings Lynn when he outrode me and got Melvin Taylor through, so I, you know, did every trick I could think of to make sure he didn't pass me. Matches
with Kings Lynn, of course, are always important, but this one particularly important with you both going so well in the league.
Yeah, you know, this one could be, you know, a decider at the end of the year whether we go or not. Kings Lynn have got a very powerful side at the moment, an extremely exciting team. Obviously, we've had a good start to the year, and we were disappointed to not win at Kings Lynn 2 weeks ago. But, yeah, you know, we're going for the league, sure.
But the season for you has been pretty exceptional as well. You're thinking about retirement at the end of last year, and now everything seems to be going right.
Things have gone very, very well for me at the start of this year. I've had a lean fortnight just recently, but I came back with a good score at the Commonwealth final and had a really good meeting and thoroughly enjoyed it. And at this moment, I've changed engines as well. I've switched from the Westlake to a Gordon engine. Tonight, you know, it's a bit difficult to get used to the type of power it has. But, you know, if I persevere, it should come good.
John, it's nice to see you in such great form. Nice to see you in our Man of the Series final as well.
Thanks very much. I could do with the money.
So as John Louis heads to the bank, we're heading to Hoddesdon for the National League fixture between Rye House and Milton Keynes. That's our Speedway action next week. Join us again.